up guys? I hope you're all having an amazing weekend. A few of you asked me in my Q&A a couple of weeks ago what my past relationship with food was. So I thought I'd spend a little bit of time talking about it, given that I haven't really addressed what my past relationship with food was directly in a video. So yeah, let's get into it, and maybe you guys can relate to it, or maybe you're going through something similar and this might be able to help you. So when I was younger, I think at home we were always really healthy. Like my parents never really, we've never had a takeaway. My parents always cooked good, like healthy foods, and we were always active. I was actually aware of body types and body shape and the thigh gap when I was as young as 10 years old. I remember talking about it with my friends, and we knew kind of what was considered good food, and we knew what junk food was as well. So that kind of idea was kind of, yeah, it was there since the age of 10 and maybe even younger. But I mean, it didn't really affect what I was eating. I didn't feel like I was restricting myself of anything. I still had cakes at birthdays, and I was pretty much eating intuitively. Because I was so active, I felt like I kind of got away with eating quite a lot of food, but I never thought about calories or anything like that. It was only really when I was 16 when I went out for a bike ride with my friend, and one of the guys behind me said, "Oh, Natasha, you look quite hench." And because I'd already started filling out, I'd stopped growing by that point, it just, I don't know, it just kind of like, it kind of really got to me, and I became very aware that, yeah, I wasn't as skinny as I used to be. So over that summer holiday when I was 16, I went to the south of France, and every other day I was going for like a 5K run, and every single day I was swimming as well. And on top of that, I was restricting my calories. And in 2 weeks, I think I lost 5 kilos. So that was like super quick. Wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, I just lost that much weight in that much time. But I felt like it was something I had to now maintain. So then I became aware of calories and like low calorie diets and low fat foods and things like that. And I was restricting, and I was counting all of my calories. I think I was on about 1,500 calories a day, and I was running every other day and also training for athletics, which was the sport that I was doing at the time. And I got really skinny. I think I weighed about 12 kilos less than I do now, so that's a stone less than I do now. And I was obsessed. Like that's all I ever thought about, was how much do I weigh, how do I look, how skinny am I? And because I was restricting calories, but I didn't want anyone else to kind of know, because previously I was always eating, so I didn't want people to think anything was different. So whenever I would go to parties or whatever, I would binge, like honestly scoff my face with cakes and ice cream and things like that. And I think part of that also was because I was restricting myself. So because I was eating so little, I felt like I needed to just massively indulge in food. And obviously I did that, and it was fine, and it was like a comfort as well. And as soon as that kind of phase where I was eating loads of food stopped, I would instantly feel guilty. And I would run the next day. I'd go for a run for about 2 hours, or on top of, yeah, so I would go for a run for about 2 hours, and that was on top of the workout that I was already doing, because every night for 2 years I was doing this, like, I don't even know, this like home workout with some ankle weights in my room for about an hour at 1 AM in the morning, after I'd done all of my homework. So it was just this constant like battle with myself. I always felt like I was putting on weight even though I wasn't really, and I was obsessing with the scales all the time. Even throughout the day I'd weigh myself about 5 times. I was just so obsessed, and I was just consumed by it. And I guess I saw things as black and white as well. Like I only saw that there was only like one way to look good, and that was just to be skinny. and there was only good and bad food. So I just categorized everything, and I felt like there was just, yeah, it was just black or white, and there was nothing in between, and that's what it was like for me. And I think it's only now that I realize what kind of eating disorder I had, because back then I didn't even think about it. Like, I just thought, yeah, I'm probably behaving like a little bit weird, but I guess that's what you have to do to look this way. But I think now, looking back at it, I had a binge eating disorder, because I would undereat and then massively overeat. We're talking like in a session I'd probably have like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories in one go, and then just not eat much or go for a run, and like non-purging bulimia as well. So I never kind of threw up. I would have a binge and then I would go for a run, or I'd over exercise, or I'd not eat like those next meals that I could have eaten. And I also had body dysmorphia. Every time I looked in the mirror, I thought I was fat. I thought I had bingo wings. I thought I had like cellulite, all of these things. And yeah, I just saw myself in a really different light, and I had very low self-esteem, very low confidence in myself. I was always feeling guilty about things, always apologizing for things, always like putting myself down. Like if someone complimented me, my automatic response would be like, no, like you don't mean that, or oh, you're just being kind. So yeah, it was just all of these kind of thoughts. I just had very I was always trying to put myself down. I kind of had like a negative outlook on life as well in general. And then I went to university and the same thing happened. Like I started doing triathlon purely for the reason that I wanted to be skinny. I stopped doing athletics. I was experimenting with different foods, so I would cut loads of different foods out. I would go on diets where I was like on a low carb diet. I did the paleo diet, I did sugar-free diet, I did high fat diets, I did intermittent fasting, carb cycling, honestly like a plethora of just different diets, just because I thought that one of them might work for me. And all that happened really was that I would sacrifice my performance over how I looked. But really at the time I didn't really think anything of that, because I was just so focused on how I looked. I ended up not really caring about performance that much. And it was only at the end of my university years where I went abroad to train for my Ironman, and I was on a low carb diet, and I went out for this cycle and I just couldn't keep up. And honestly, I couldn't keep up because I thought in my head at the time I couldn't keep up because I was fat. And really it's because I had no carbohydrates. I just refused to have carbohydrates. We stopped for lunch. It was a 140-kilometer alpine cycle, and I had a salad. Had a salad with some walnuts and like some parma ham, and that's it. Everyone around me was having like sandwiches, bananas, stuff like that, and I was having none of it. And my friend, when I got back, she was like, I think you have an eating disorder. And I think at that point, it just kind of hit home, and she was like, if you don't start eating properly, you're not going to finish your Ironman. And that was something I was kind of really invested in, so I did really want to actually finish that Ironman. So once I finished my Ironman, I decided to take a break from triathlon. I kind of realised that I wasn't hugely passionate about it, and so I started doing weightlifting. Weightlifting was kind of like a transition phase between doing triathlon and finding a sport that I actually was passionate about. And because I didn't really know what I was doing, I came across Paige Hathaway and Michelle Lewin, and they really surprised me because I thought they looked amazing. And that was weird for me, because up until that point I had subconsciously created this belief system that the only way you could look good was to be skinny. And so they really challenged that, and they kind of made me more open to different ways of training, and that maybe there's not only one way to look good, there's not only one way to train. And so from a belief system that was so black and white, I started to think differently, and I was more open to doing more research on nutrition and training, and I was also open to getting professional help. Those two things made me open to relearning about nutrition and about training. I didn't actually think about that before, because before I thought I had all of the answers. So I thought that to get skinnier you had to run loads and eat less. And now I know that you can do like weight training and eat more and build more of a metabolism. I also used to think that you had to abide by the scales, which again, I just don't think they're representative at all of how you look anymore, especially if you do weight training. And I also became open to not thinking of food as so black and white. I think even Nutella and like junk food have their place. So all of these things I probably wouldn't have found out about or been so open about if I didn't have that open mind, if I hadn't opened my mind to new ideas. I carried on doing weightlifting for about a year and a half, and then I started to find what I was hoping for with like calisthenics and gymnastics. And now I actually really look forward to training. I feel like shifting my training from how I wanted to look to how I want to perform means that I can be like way more creative, and I enjoy what I'm doing, and everything is different, and I feel like I'm pushing my body in ways that I never used to, because when I was thinking so much about how I looked, training just became very boring for me. I was just like, I'm doing a 2 hour, like there's only so many times I can do a 2 hour run, and like how enjoyable was it? Because the only thing that I wanted was to be skinny, and I was doing it because I didn't like the way I looked. Whereas now, I get inspired every time I see like a post from Anthony Joshua who does some like cool boxing moves, or some amazing girls doing some gymnastics or calisthenics or whatever it is. And it pushes me and it drives me, and I train harder now than I ever used to. I love training that intensely, and my body stays lean as a result, or as an outcome or a side product of that. But it's not like, that's not what I'm focusing on. It just happens to be that way because I'm enjoying training so much. So that's my story. That's how I helped myself get out of my old way of thinking, and so hopefully that can help you in some way. But I really want this video to be like a place where you guys can just feel free to share your experiences and your troubles or whatever it is. Just leave a comment and I will try and get back to every single one of them. But yeah, thank you for watching. And before I finish this video, I also want to say that an eating disorder is mental. It's not a physical disorder. Sometimes it can present itself physically, for sure, but it's all about how you think. So please don't feel embarrassed about anything, and do talk it through with people, with someone professional or anyone, because we're out to help each other. And I hope this channel kind of gives you a place where you guys feel like you can help each other and support each other through times that you feel that, for times where you need it. So thank you so much, and love you lots. Bye.